Hello, this is a video on why you would consider choosing medicinal mushroom extracts instead of fresh or dried mushrooms for therapeutic purposes, obviously not for culinary purposes or something else like that. So, what makes medicinal mushrooms therapeutic is the bioactive compounds. Now, the problem is that the bioactive compounds are locked inside of their cell wall by a substance called chitin. And chitin is one of the hardest known substances, and it's the same substance that crustaceans and insects make their shells out of. So in order to unlock the bioactive compounds, we need strong activity of the stomach enzyme chitinase. Now, for most of us, our chitinase enzymes are not very active, and until quite recently, scientists thought that humans didn't even have the chitinase enzyme. So what this essentially means is that the bioactive compounds majority of them remain locked inside of the chitinase and then inside of the chitin, and then they just pass straight through. So you're not going to receive the therapeutic benefits from the medicinal mushrooms in this way. So this begs the question of how do we unlock the bioactive compounds? How do we break through the fortress of chitin? Well, the most simple method is to cook them for many hours in hot water and make a tea or soup out of them. This is what systems such as traditional Chinese medicine have been using for thousands of years. But scientists have sort of played around and tinkered with the methods and have found the optimal method to produce the highest yield of bioactive compounds. So one of the ways, and the most simple and cheapest method, is hot water extraction. And then there's also enzymatic methods. There's supercritical carbon dioxide extraction, and there's ultrasonic methods. Now these are very expensive and require very high technologically advanced equipment. And so Ayurveda uses state-of-the-art engineered hot water extraction method. And this is a method which involves using hot water of about 100 to 190 degrees Celsius and also pressure. So 50 pounds per square inch of pressure. And this is to ensure that the molecular structure of the bioactive compounds aren't damaged. So you can think of it as something like a pressure cooker. Now, not all of the bioactive compounds are water soluble. Triterpenes and, say, iridescenes that are found in lion's mane, these require a different solvent. So Ayurveda uses alcohol. So a ethanol extraction is then the second step that would be used here. So this involves the hot water extraction residue being soaked in alcohol, and then the alcohol-soluble compounds are drawn out into the alcohol. The alcohol then evaporates. So when you take them, you're not actually getting any alcohol content, but the alcohol is evaporated and you're left with a residue that's really high in the alcohol-soluble bioactive compounds. So then Ayurveda uses alcohol precipitation as the next step. So this is used either straight after the hot water extraction, or if it's required, the second step of the alcohol extraction, then the alcohol precipitation is the following step. And this is a method that essentially gets rid of all the useless fibers and lipids and things like that. And this way you're left with a really high content of the desired bioactive compounds. There's also a method that involves mixing the hot water and the alcohol together, and this is a extraction method that is cheaper, but it's not very effective. You don't have much control over the outcomes of the bioactive compounds within it. Now, it's also very important to note that the term extraction is thrown around very loosely in the marketing world of medicinal mushrooms, and this is mostly because there's no legal standard for extraction. So some companies might say 10-to-1 mushroom extract, but really all that they're doing is getting 10 kilos of fresh mushroom and then they dehydrate it and extract the water from it, and then you're left with 1 kilo of dried mushrooms, which may be then pounded and capsuled or whatever. But as I just previously discussed, this is problematic because you're not extracting the bioactive compounds, you're just taking the water out, which means that the bioactive compounds are still encased in the chitin, and so your body can't access the bioactive compounds. So you're not really getting the benefits in this way. So really the best way to ensure that the bioactive compounds are there is to get the product tested. And so companies should be using a third-party testing to prove what's in their products, but a lot of companies actually skip this step. So I would highly recommend that you, when you're looking for a mushroom extract, to choose a company that uses third-party certificate of analysis, because then you can actually guarantee what you're getting in the product. So in summary, really you want to make sure that the mushrooms that you choose are extracted with a hot water extract at least, and if required a dual extraction with the alcohol extraction as well, because this ensures that the chitin has been sort of melted and the bioactive compounds have been released, and in this way they are bioavailable to you and you're going to receive the full benefits of the medicinal mushrooms.